Our top stories tonight, the outlawed homes which have some people on the warpath.
And the union vote with a lopsided ballot count. News 2 Tonight is next.
Ever wonder where the money you deposit in Community Bank goes? Well, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays right here, working in the community. Let me show you. Some of it went here to restore this historic landmark on Friendly Road. And some went here to put this Fisher Park home back in shape. And here to save this old cemetery house. It's now on the historic registry, thanks to you and Community Bank. So while other banks invest in foreign countries, we invest your money right here in your community. That's why we're the Community Bank.
The Parent Trap, this week on The Good Morning Show.
From the Action Center in Greensboro, this is News 2, number 1 in the Piedmont.
Good evening, I'm Bill Kopald.
And I'm Sybil Robson. Some Randolph County residents have declared war on Liberty Town officials. It all has to do with a mobile home ordinance adopted last spring. Our Nightside reporter Davita Jones tells us it outlaws certain types of housing within the city limits.
Last summer, Herman Edwards gave his daughter and son-in-law 1 acre of his Randolph County farmland. The couple planned to live in a single-wide trailer on the property while building a new home. But they couldn't do that because of Liberty's trailer ordinance. It allows only double-wide mobile homes within the town limits and a 1-mile radius outside the corporate area.
If they were offending anybody or there was any complaint, it'd be a different story. But them being out here in the country, a mile from town, right in an open farm, and we're being located right behind 12 chicken houses, I don't think it affect the chickens too much.
Edwards joined 100 other mobile home backers at the Liberty Town Hall for a political action meeting tonight. They formed a group called Committee for Citizens' Rights. Sonny Bullard is the group's leader.
Are you ready to stand up for what is right? Amen.
To help them in their fight, the county residents have retained an Orange County lawyer familiar with property and zoning laws.
What's going to stop these people from going in right now and putting in, say, 5 or 10 trailers in this mile zone? Legally, what can they do? Can the sheriff come and take the trailer or give them a notice? Or
but they can be, there are several remedies that the town could try to get a judge to issue what's called an injunction.
Liberty Town officials did not attend tonight's meeting and attempts to reach them were unsuccessful. The trailer ordinance issue, though, is one which the residents here have been battling for quite some time, and many of them say it is an issue which cannot be resolved overnight. As one resident told me, there is more at stake here than my mobile home. What's at stake is my right to live where I want to live and to live in what I want to live in. In Liberty, Davita Jones, News 2 Tonight.
There's growing concern tonight the state's fuel assistance program may run out of money before winter ends. Some of the program's administrators say there's an increased demand for help because the ranks of the state's poverty-stricken families are rising. In Mecklenburg County, for example, the application process is only halfway complete, but the number of people asking for aid is only 2,000 short of last year's total number of participants. Payments are based on household income, the type of fuel used, and projected utility costs for the area. To speed up or stay with the original course? That's the question being debated within the Reagan administration. The president is talking about moving next July's 10% tax cut up to January 1st. Treasury Secretary Donald Reagan says while congressional Democrats are talking about eliminating the July tax cut altogether, keeping it and moving it to January would stimulate the economy.
We have a recovery going here in the United States, but people want it to move faster so that we can get more jobs, so that we can have a speedier recovery than we're having. One of the ways to do it would be to give people that tax cut that they're going to get on July 1st on January 1st.
Many congressional Democrats have talked about a jobs program for the unemployed. Now some Republicans are too. Senator Dan Quayle of Indiana wants Congress to set aside $50 million for a worker retraining program. The money would be used to help those who've been permanently laid off. Sybil.
Well, money is very important to students, too, and a workshop to help UNCG students find scholarships outside of the school proved so successful tonight that the Financial Aid Office decided to hold another one. The second scholarship search, as it's called, was held this evening. During the one-hour session, librarians shared with students the scholarship's potential available to them. The UNCG Student Aid Director says schools must now make up for cuts in federal loans from outside resources.
Hard to find things have had their cup runneth over. We have students in school this year who've gotten 4 and 6 outside scholarships because they've been diligent in their search. So we thought, we have such wonderful reference materials here and such a good staff who's so interested in helping our students that we would simply provide the catalyst in offering the highlight on what these resources are and where you find them.
Engel says the best advice she could give a student seeking aid is to start early because it takes time to find them and the competition is very stiff. Well, there's no question those scholarships are needed. Freshman enrollment in the nation's private colleges is down this year. However, Education Secretary Terrell Bell says the sour economy is to blame, not the federal budget cuts in student aid. Bell says he will continue to push for streamlining financial aid. He wants to end bureaucratic overlapping and have only one program to handle loans, grants, and work-study programs.
Coming up, a Triad brewery may be sold as part of a multi-million-dollar merger.
And the results have come in on a union vote in Lexington. These stories and much more when News 2 Tonight continues.
Nissan Motor Corporation announces 9.9 annual percentage rate financing on any new Datsun truck. That's the lowest financing available from any manufacturer. The lowest in 10 years. 9.9% saves from $1,100 to over $1,800 in finance charges on any Datsun truck you want. But hurry, 9.9% financing is available for a limited time only, and only at your Datsun dealer.
Your North Carolina area Datsun dealers, driven to save you money with the lowest financing in 10 years.
One free phone call will bring you the latest top stock picks from Interstate Securities, one of the Southeast's leading investment firms. Call 1-800-648-5000 for 10 stocks we believe represent exceptional opportunities for the investor. Recommendations you may not find anywhere else. Each one carefully analyzed by Interstate's research department. Call now for your free list of Interstate's top 10 stock selections. Interstate Securities. We bring Wall Street to your street.
The figures tell the story when it comes to the economy. It's not a jovial one when it comes to the nation's factories either. They're still bogged down in the recession. Factory use last month was down to its lowest level in 35 years. About a third of the country's production lines were at a standstill. One economist says factory use figures show the economy has been in a near depression for the past few years. However, Alan Sinai, who's vice president with Data Resources Incorporated, predicts that a recovery will begin early next year. He contends unemployment will not exceed 10.7%. It was 10.4% last month. Well, some people who used to work for a Piedmont furniture company may find themselves back on the job soon. The American Drew Plants Incorporated, North Wilkesboro, are going to be hopping again. Spokesmen say orders for their new line of furniture will prompt them to rehire some laid-off workers. The marketing director for American Drew says orders have exceeded the company's budgets and goals by quite a bit at all 4 of the plants in North Wilkesboro. Actual production of the new mahogany productions of 18th century American furniture won't begin until January. Bill?
There appears to be a silver lining for the financially clouded housing industry tonight. A number of new homes being built is on the rise. Now, according to the Commerce Department, the number of housing starts rose at an annual rate of 1% last month. Now, granted, that may not sound like much, but it means work began on more than 1 million units. Another encouraging report for the slumping industry points to the number of building permits issued. It's up more than 17%, and that's an indication of building activity in the months ahead. It's also an indication there will be work for a lot of people in the near future. Well, some jobs could eventually be on the line in Winston-Salem. The Schlitz Brewery may be sold as part of the company's merger with the Stroh's Brewing Company. The Detroit beer maker is looking for a buyer for either that plant or the Schlitz outlet in Memphis. The Stroh's spokesman says it doesn't make any difference which one is sold as long as the company complies with a federal court order. Justice Department lawyers have said unless one of the breweries is sold, competition would be reduced in this part of the country.
Well, the ballots have finally been counted in Davidson County, and the PPG plant in Lexington is basking in the glory of victory tonight. The vote wasn't even close. After 2 days of balloting, workers at the fiberglass plant voted 779 to 335 to reject Teamster Rep.